Those insecurities were starting to rise up in the back of him. The anxiety was probably really heavy. He was probably feeling so alone because he was off in this land by himself, but yet he was trying to convince himself that this is what living is all about, you know? And don't we do that? We're like, no, this is it. This is so fun. And we go to the parties and we're like, woo, out living. My parents aren't here. I can go crazy. I can do whatever I want. And yet you like inside are like not actually feeling like yourself. You're not actually feeling great about it. But then you post it on Instagram and you're like, thriving. And you're like, but I'm actually not, you know? That is so us. That is so us. Why do we do that? The whole time he knew. He knew he had a father. He knew he had a home, but yet he was just totally adapting to this lifestyle. And it wasn't until he just realized, wait a second, I had everything I needed there, and I had a place to sleep, and I had food to fill my stomach, and I was a part of something, a family, and I was loved. Man, maybe I can just go back. And I just want us to look at this tonight because I just think there's so much for us to realize, and I want us to look at maybe why we haven't come to the realization yet. And I think one of the reasons is just like this son. He was just trying to like fill the gap. And I think that sometimes we get confused with what it looks like to fill the gap and what it looks like to fulfill something. There's a huge difference though. Because to fill the gap, it means to add to something to have enough. This son thought, I need to add to my life to live it larger than I already am. So I'm going to go out, and I'm just going to go, and I'm going to do all the things I always wanted to do. He thought, I'm just going to fill the gap. And we do that. We're like, what can I do to make me feel beautiful? And to be honest, the son used his own tactics to fill the gap, but we have our own in today's generation that might look different than then. And forgive me for being so honest right now, but really don't, because I think somebody just needs to love you enough to just call it out so you can realize it. That some of us, we fill the gap with things like dieting pills to make us feel beautiful. The right app to tune our body just enough to make us feel like we are the most beautiful person that we can be. We fill the gap with sleeping around with other people just to make us feel loved for a second. We fill the gap with just posting things we know doesn't represent us just to make us feel known and to make us feel seen. We fill the gap with pornography to satisfy our flesh for a second. We fill the gap with addictions just to make us feel numb, to take it away. We fill the gap with hiding so that we don't have to be seen. We fill the gap with all these different things, and we think if we can just keep doing this, if we can just keep adding to them, maybe we'll get to the point of having enough, when we know that it never is going to fill up. Because every time you do these temporary things, you end up just like him. Oh my gosh, I literally have nothing, you know? But do you know what that word fulfill means? Different than filling the gap, having to add to, the word fulfill means to step into reality. You don't have to do anything to fulfill. You just have to realize who you already are. You're already loved, just like you are. You're already enough, just as you are. You're already known. The word says that he knows every thought. He knows every word that's going to come out of your mouth before you even say it. You're already seen. He knit you together in your mother's womb, and he breathed life into you for such a time as this. You already have purpose. You already have destiny. You already have all of these things, not because of anything you've done, not because of anything you will do, but simply because of who you are. Has anybody seen the movie Princess Diaries?